The Gorga family drama is finally over for Melissa and Joe. The Real Housewives of New Jersey's Season 13 finale on Tuesday night saw chaos at Dolores Catania's prohibition-era party after Danielle Cabral made the decision to face the persistent suspicions of Melissa's adultery. It turns out that neither Melissa nor Joe were surprised. "I've heard this tale before, do you want to know how?" "Via my husband," Melissa remarked to Danielle. "Do you want to know how I found out through my husband?" His sister discreetly invited him to her place to be told this story behind my back. "You're basing this on an unfounded rumor about a woman who wants to harm Margaret and has no evidence, you know." "Nothing at all. Did she believe he would simply pack up and leave?" Melissa went on. "What the F are you doing, exactly?" In a later confessional, Joe revealed shocking information about the relationships between the families. In addition to Teresa and Louie informing him that Melissa had cheated on him with multiple men, he asserted that a few days later, his niece Gia Giudice called to inform him that "we just think you can do better." Melissa also admitted to Danielle that Teresa has tried to falsely label her on numerous occasions over the years. She said that Teresa has branded her a stripper and even accused her of doing things in parking lots, but she and Joe have let, Teresa's words, go. "I have a pretty fed-up sister-in-law, don't you think?" Lisa snorted. Danielle was attempting to defend herself at the same time, going back to the claim that this rumor was allegedly started by Laura, an old friend of Margaret Joseph's. However, Margaret also joined the battle after hearing her name mentioned by Danielle. She shrieked at Danielle, "You're not a messenger, you're an S-starter," as the two women continued to fling crude obscenities at one another. "Pardon me?" Melissa replied, "Yes, you called my husband to your house to tell him that I was in a car with a guy," in response to Teresa's question. "Wow. Wow. Wow," said Teresa. Saying, "Look at you," Melissa cried, "Look at you." Dolores, meanwhile, saw the situation's escalation from a distance. "I've seen enough fights in my time to know when something is going to get out of hand," she said in a confessional. "This is horrible." Melissa pursued Teresa as she made an effort to leave and eventually cornered her. She argued, "You called my husband." Teresa said, "Get off of me." Joe also provided a confessional account of the events. "Louie calls and I answer. 'Why are you doing this? I must see you immediately. It's highly significant.' So when I get at her home, Louie informs me that Melissa allegedly cheated on me." He recalled, "I said, 'Guys, you've got the wrong girl.'" Regardless of what Teresa or Louie said, Margaret acknowledged that she believed that Teresa had to be involved in order for the adultery allegation to gain traction. Jennifer, Aiden, and Danielle wouldn't act improperly in front of Teresa. "I believe Teresa was aware that it would occur. I believe Teresa appears incredibly anxious. She was late tonight, and I suppose that's why," Margaret insisted. She shrugged. "I told them not to say it," Teresa said. "But I'm not allowed to direct others." Once again at the party, the spouses began to intercede as Nate Cabral attempted to calm Louie down after he punched Melissa in the face, which prompted John Fuda to restrain Joe. Joe told Louie, "Don't get in her face, angry like the devil. Who speaks to a woman in that way, you could ask." Teresa expressed her hurt although adamantly denying any involvement in the story. She confessed to Jennifer, "Somehow, the finger always gets pointed at me. How can I attend someone else's wedding celebration when they are the ones who are always trying to ruin mine?" Melissa uttered. "Even if they take the form of your family, toxic people who want to bring me down are not something I need to deal with." Dolores answered softly, saying that if Melissa and Joe skip the wedding, they should realize it's over. Melissa, though, was unfazed. "It was concluded," she said. After finishing her conversation with Melissa, Dolores went to Teresa's house to sit down with her, Louie, and Jennifer Aiden to discuss the evening. Louie interrupted the discussion to boast that he had hired his best friend, a private investigator, to gather data on everyone in the group. While Teresa acknowledged that Dolores was confused, she asserted in private that she was unaware of any additional details and said in public that she was so done. "Melissa has been attempting to accomplish this for over 10 years. She has constantly wanted to keep my brother away from me," she informed the cameras. She achieved her goal. Never miss a story again. Subscribe to People's free daily newsletter to receive the best of the magazine's content, including juicy celebrity news and gripping human interest tales. 13th season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey is now available to stream in its entirety on Peacock. On May 23 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Bravo is scheduled to telecast the Teresa Gets Married special.